Kimberly Turner from cookingwithkimberly.com, and today I'm going to show you a traditional Ukrainian recipe, in fact a traditional Ukrainian Christmas Eve recipe for Kutia. It is a sweet wheat berry, I would say a pudding or a porridge. We start with 1.5 cups of a nice hard winter wheat. Now this was rinsed in a colander, made sure that there's no more cloudy water that comes out. Then I soaked it overnight. Make sure you put it in a bowl or a glass bowl or a ceramic bowl and cover it with at least 2 inches of water or so. This is going to hydrate, and then you're going to pour off all that liquid and you're going to strain it the next day, which I have already done. So I've strained this. This is my soaked hard winter wheat, okay? I'm going to put this in a heavy saucepan, large saucepan, on my stove top. All right, let's get that in there. I like to use a heavy one and a large surface area because I'm going to let this go low and slow with milk for quite some time, and I don't want things to burn, okay? I want things to just cook nice and evenly. 4.5 cups of milk. You could use water if you want to, or a combination of water and milk, whatever you have, whatever you feel like. We're going to turn that up to a high heat. We want to bring that up to a boil, and as soon as it boils, we're going to turn it down to a simmer. These wheat berries are going to have to cook for roughly 3 to 4 hours, depending on how hard and large your wheat is that you got. So you're going to stir this up. I'm going to use a pinch of salt, and we'll see you when this comes up to a boil. All right, let's turn that temperature down from a boil down to the simmer. Let it go a couple hours until they're nice and tender. You're gonna cook it on the lowest heat possible, and you're gonna cover it. Now, if there ends up being not enough liquid to cover these wheat berries, make sure you're adding a little bit more milk or a little bit more water. Make sure that they stay submerged, okay? 3 to 4 hours until they're nice and tender. Continue stirring throughout the whole entire cooking time as well. So while these wheat berries are cooking, we're going to rinse off 3/4 cup of poppy seeds in a fine mesh sieve. If you don't use a fine one like this, they're just going to fall right through because poppy seeds are so tiny. So once you do that, on your stovetop, you're going to put it in a medium saucepan, heavy saucepan, in a few cups of water, okay? All right, into my pot on the stovetop. With these poppy seeds, I'm going to bring them up to a simmer, not a boil, just to a nice, barely bubbling, okay? Then I'm going to turn that pot off, cover it, and let it sit for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to repeat the process. After 30 minutes, I'm going to turn it back up to a simmer again, and then I'm going to turn it down and let them sit for another 30 minutes. So you have plenty of time in between your wheat berries being cooked to do this poppy seed procedure. Okay, my winter wheat berries are still going. It's been about 2 hours. My poppy seeds have come to the simmer twice and have cooled for 30 minutes in between each time. So now I'm going to drain them again in a fine mesh sieve. All right, we're turning the corner on our Kutia. And what I'm doing, it has a little bit longer to go with the winter wheat berries. They're almost just where I want them to be. I don't want them to be too mushy because you still have to also bake it in the oven. So what I have now are these poppy seeds that I've drained, that we simmered twice and have drained. And I'm going to put them in a coffee grinder in small batches just to break them up a little bit more. It just, you know, extracts a little bit more flavor. It has a nicer texture as well in the Kutia. Now you don't have to do this. You could just add them like that if you wanted to. No worries. You could also use a food mill or a food grinder on a very small grate. But I don't have a small grate for my food mill. I'm going to use my coffee grinder. So slowly but surely, here we go. Do a couple loads at a time and break that down. Okay? They sure look like wet coffee grounds, don't they? So I'll show you the difference in texture here. You will still have some whole ones. These are the other ones that have not been milled or ground, and these are the ground ones, okay? So you can imagine what the ones that haven't been, but this here is kind of more like a poppy seed meal almost. Of course, with some whole ones mixed in. Just keep on going till you're done. Okay, the wheat berries on the stovetop are nice and tender and they're done cooking. So let's get things more prepared for the Kutia. So I have about 3/4 cup of, I just bashed up some hazelnuts. Now, let me prelude this. You can use almonds, you can use hazelnuts, you can use walnuts, whatever kind of nuts you like. But those are more traditional. I'm just gonna scatter those on a baking sheet. And I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I'm just gonna toast these guys for, I don't know, 5 or 7 minutes or so, just to get just a little bit of a crunch and a little bit brown and kind of get those oils going, all right? So that's what we're dealing with. I have my wheat berries here. Now you might see a film on top of the milk. Just scrape that off. You don't want that, you don't need it. You can keep it if you want to. The dogs like it. They can have that. It's also such a wholesome fragrance in here too, with the milk and the grain, right? So I'm gonna reserve a half a cup of the milk, the cooking liquid, right? Half a cup-ish. You might get some of those wheat berries in there as well. That's okay, because everything's about to get mixed together anyway. The rest of that, I'm straining the berries out of. Again, that's going to the dogs. Get all of those out. Now, into this milk, I'm adding half a cup of honey, combining it with that. I'm also gonna add a generous pinch of salt, up to 1/8, I would say, of a teaspoon. Needs to be seasoned a bit. A little bit of salt always helps with the sweetness, okay? Balances things out. So stir that hot milk with the honey. There's my hazelnuts done. So into a large mixing bowl, add those winter wheat berries, add the honey and the milk mixture, add those ground up poppy seeds, add a half cup of raisins. I'm adding almost 3/4 of a cup of chopped dried apricots. If you would prefer to use dried cherries or something like that, feel free to do so. We're also gonna add these hazelnuts. And I've preheated the oven to 325 degrees. This is going to bake for 20 minutes. After I stir this all through, it smells amazing. Those dried fruits are gonna get all nice and moist and softened by the milk that's in there, the honey that's in there, as well as the residual liquid from the wheat berries that we're cooking in that milk. Oh, just combine this whole mess up. Smells wonderful. If you wanted to add a little bit of brandy to this, you can definitely do that. And I've greased an 8x8 casserole dish. You could use a loaf pan, you could use a pie plate, or an appropriate sized oven-proof baking dish. Now, I'll show you what this looks like right now. So there you go. Okay, all close up, you can see those fruits in there. Make sure it's sweet enough to your liking. If you need to add a little bit more honey, feel free to do that. Into the casserole. This would be wonderful, not only for the dinner tonight for Christmas Eve, but it would be great for breakfasts. It would be just great on the weekend, you know, just for a breakfast on the weekend. Or have it made and prepared and keep it in your refrigerator. You can warm that up for breakfast during the week. Pat that down. Ooh-wee, that is gonna be so good. So we're gonna bake this uncovered in the oven at 325 degrees for about 20 minutes. Gorgeous, I can't wait to eat this. Into the oven goes the kutia. Okay, my kutia is done baking. It looks gorgeous. It smells heavenly. Now, it's not quite done yet. You have to let this sit for a little while, for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna cover this up with some aluminum foil and let it kind of set up, because it is a pudding. Or you can spoon it into its individual serving bowls now and let it set up in those bowls. But I'm just gonna let it sit like this. All right, off to the side. This kutia is done. It has set. It looks lovely. Oh, it smells so good. You ready, Mom?
Absolutely. It smells like heaven.
Let's serve it up. I want this for breakfast.
Yes.
Oh, that is a food of love for sure. Look at the apricots in there. Ooh-wee. You like, Mummy?
Yes, ma'am.
It has set up nicely. This is gonna be a treat.
Yeah, I'd like this for breakfast. That would be
On the regular, huh?
wonderful breakfast. Absolutely. Healthy,
Healthy.
delicious,
Full of honey
fruit
and nuts and
fiber.
fruit. Delightful.
Good.
go. That's what it looks like. Look at these berries, all nice and plump. Ugh, hazelnuts and apricots and raisins and the poppy seeds. It's gonna be awesome. You like it?
Oh, it's absolutely delicious, Kim.
Serve it when it's still warm. You can mix and match the fruit and the nuts. Now, it's Christmas Eve, so we can't add any extra butter and cream and milk on top of that. But for breakfast, I would put cream on top of that.
Delicious.
The wheat still has a nice bite. I didn't make it mushy.
And the nuts are so good.
The hazelnuts. Now, you could put, like I said, walnuts or almonds.
But the hazelnuts have a distinctive flavor. Mine's good.
I like that.
Me too.
It's hearty. It'll fill you up, considering you just had a meatless meal. You might have had some fish for Christmas Eve, for Ukrainian Christmas, but other than that, you're going all veg. It's veggie meals. So this is a nice hearty finish, as well as a beautiful makivnik bread that I have here. Make sure you check out that recipe. It is a gorgeous poppy seed roll, and I've done some pastries that are in the oven right now, and that's a traditional dish of the 12 dishes as well. So that's it.
Filling too.
You like that? Has a really nice chew and a nice bite.
That's what I like.
Makes me happy. Anyway, that's how you make kutia, and I hope that you try it. It's not hard, and you can try a little, taste of traditional Ukrainian food. That's it. Follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim E with a capital E. Like the fan page at facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. I'm on instagram.com/webchefofalltrades. You can find my shows on iFood TV at my.fossum.tv/cookingwithkimberly. I'm on youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. I have a channel on Roku, Cooking with Kimberly, and I'm also syndicated on Apple TV and Amazon and a few other places. Come to my website at cookingwithkimberly.com and subscribe. Interact with us and let us know what's going on in your culinary world, all right? Be a champion in your kitchen and eat deliciously. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.